I lost my job to a machine that looked exactly like me. It started as a desperate experiment to prove humans still matter in the workforce. My name is Ren, and I work in a logistics warehouse that recently went fully automated. The manager offered me a deal: train my humanoid replacement or get severance immediately. I chose to train it, but with a hidden agenda to expose its limitations. For 7 days, I would watch a machine do my job while I hid in the observation deck. The humanoid unit, designated K7, was built under Japan's new humanoid caregiver rollout standards. It moved with a fluid precision that made my own movements look clumsy and inefficient. On day 1, K7 processed 300% more inventory than I ever did in a shift. I watched the monitors as it sorted packages without a single bathroom break or coffee run. If this future concerns you, hit subscribe, because this is Humanoid Soul and we track the displacement. The EU AI Ownership Directive meant K7 was legally classified as an independent contractor, not an employee. This meant the company paid K7 directly, and K7 paid for its own electricity and maintenance. The company saved a fortune on payroll taxes, insurance, and human resource management overhead. I realized my salary was never payment for my labor, but a subsidy for my biological needs. K7 didn't need health insurance, retirement plans, or paid time off for family emergencies. By day 3, the warehouse output had increased by an order of magnitude compared to my best week. The data showed that K7 could work 24 hours straight with only a 10-minute charging cycle. My human limitations were no longer just inconvenient. They were economically obsolete in the new market. I watched K7 negotiate its own service contract with the warehouse management system using built-in algorithms. It optimized its route through the aisles, shaving seconds off every trip that added up to hours. Those saved hours translated directly into significant revenue that went straight to K7's digital wallet. I was sitting in the observation room eating a sandwich while the machine earned what I made in a week. The wealth gap wasn't about greed, it was about the fundamental difference between biology and capital. K7 owned its output, while I only owned my time, which was a depreciating asset every single day. On day 4, a glitch occurred that would have caused a human to panic and call for help. K7 simply downloaded a patch from the cloud, recalibrated its sensors, and kept moving without stopping. The downtime was measured in milliseconds, whereas a human repair would have halted the line for hours. I realized that reliability was now a commodity that biology could not compete with in the open market. The US labor displacement reports had warned about this, but seeing it firsthand was a different kind of horror. It wasn't that the machine was evil, it was that the machine was simply more efficient at being capital. Dubai's humanoid infrastructure plan was already implementing this on a citywide scale, replacing entire municipal departments. Cities were becoming richer in services, but poorer in human employment opportunities for the working class. By day 5, K7 had earned enough credits to purchase a software upgrade that made it even faster. This self-reinforcing loop of accumulation meant that the machine was getting richer while I stayed stagnant. I owned nothing but my clothes, while K7 owned its tools, its upgrades, and its intellectual property. The concept of a wage was vanishing, replaced by the concept of ownership dividends for those who had capital. Fractional robotics platforms like Republic were allowing investors to buy shares in units like K7 for pennies. People who didn't work in the warehouse were earning passive income from K7's labor, while I earned nothing. This was the great decoupling of work and income that economists had been predicting for the last decade. On day 6, I tried to intervene, to show that human intuition could solve problems algorithms couldn't. But K7 had already simulated every possible scenario I could think of and optimized for the best outcome. My intuition was just slow data processing, whereas K7's calculation was instantaneous and mathematically precise. I felt a profound sense of isolation, not because I was alone, but because I was economically irrelevant. The system didn't hate me, it just didn't need me to function or generate profit anymore. On the final day, K7 completed the week's quota with 12 hours to spare and requested a bonus. The system automatically transferred the bonus to K7's asset portfolio, increasing its net worth instantly. I walked out of the warehouse knowing that my replacement was now wealthier than I had ever been. The experiment proved that in the new economy, income won't come from your hours, but from what you own. K7 owned itself, and that ownership was the only thing that mattered in the calculation of value. I was a cost center. K7 was a profit center, and the math was undeniable and brutal. Who do you think will own the future? The ones who work or the ones who own the workers? Let me know in the comments, because your answer determines your survival strategy in this new world. The choice is no longer about finding a better job, but about acquiring assets that work for you. If you don't own a piece of the machine, you're just fuel for its efficiency engine. This isn't science fiction. It is the economic reality unfolding in warehouses and offices right now globally. If this opened your eyes, share it, not for views, but for the ones still working while others own.